Let me comb it for you.
Do not come my head for you.
What if I scatter the whole hair?
Mm.
All right, guys. So I did say I was going to bring Yella back, and we're supposed to talk. We're having an interesting conversation while driving around today, and it was a conversation about the relationships in today's world. There are some things she said that I should not talk about, so she has zipped my mouth, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, she said she was going to behave like this, so so there are some things I'm off. There are some casting that she casted to me
I didn't cast anything to him. I
that
don't
are
know what he's
off
talking
limits,
about.
so I cannot cast to you guys. So
I
yeah.
don't know what he's talking
So,
about.
but there were interesting perspectives that she shared, and sometimes we need to listen to our young people because our young people seem to see life totally different from what we see, and she thinks we're dinosaurs, right?
Necessarily.
She said she used the word
I mean,
extinct on me the other time. She said I'm extinct.
that's not what I said, man.
So what is? Oh, she said you people. She even didn't say me. She said me people, including her mother. That means we're all extinct. We're old. We don't
That's not
have.
what I meant is your way of reasoning is dying. Like, it's not going to be a thing by the time we're your age.
Now, with regards to what? With regards to work, with regards to life, with regards to marriage, with regards to divorce, with regards to religion,
Everything, a lot of things,
politics,
including dressing.
including dressing.
I will forever attack you people on top of that thing.
Okay. When she came today, I walked into her closet and she was dressing up and she was wearing this, and I was like, "Your mother's gonna kill you," and she said she doesn't care, blah 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 blah, and then apparently, luckily for all of us, the mother liked the dressing,
And she was taking pictures of me.
which is rare because I don't know how she was able to swing it. Because normally I think I'm the more lenient one when it comes to dressing, right? Slightly more lenient. I'm sure left to her, I'm still strict. Am I strict with dressing?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't want to comment.
Okay, you're less strict than me.
Less strict, but I consider myself very lenient because I don't believe you can tell somebody except they do something really vulgar. Don't pull an angel, Big Brother house on me. That's a bit much. So we're having a conversation, and she said many people in her generation have a problem with understanding or dealing with the reality of today's world's marriage. Can you throw some light on that? Let's use your own words. Don't worry, you're not casting anybody, and I'm not going to cast you. So just
Daddy, stop talking about casting because that alone is casting. Can you see why I said the
okay.
way
So
you
let's
reason
not.
is different?
Okay, okay. Just explain to me what you are trying to say because you were so fluid about it in the car. I was like, this is a good topic for the radio. Let's bring it to the radio. You know what happened? She was sleeping off, so I was honing to wake her because she's very annoying. You and somebody drive out, and you're
By
going to get
force.
goodies. We're going to get goodies for her
Not
too.
for me.
Okay, for her sister, and then she's sleeping off. So I woke her up, and I was trying to have this conversation, and she actually had a good conversation, even though she was wakey and a bit grumpy. But I was like, this is very good convo. So should I remind you what you said, and then maybe that'll help you start?
Okay, so
Uh-huh.
basically, I feel like people in my generation they do not show the same kind of enthusiasm that you people should towards getting married. Do you understand? Because now people don't even want to be in relationships. At least they don't want to be in tagged relationships. They want to be in this thing where, okay, I like you and you like me, but we're not together. And it's not friends with benefits because there are feelings involved, but they don't want it to be tagged as a relationship. Do you get?
So what do you call this kind of relationship?
I don't know what they call this thing, but
Is that like a situationship or?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh, okay. I'm just asking. I'm curious. You see, normal me, I can be very judgmental. You're very stupid. What kind of nonsense is this? Don't ever. But you see, I need to understand that these are, you see, when they get to 19,
It's a safe space. Do you exactly? That's how they see it. They see it as a safe space. You get if anything like messes up, they can just
move
run away. They can
immediately.
just move. Like I wasn't with you.
Okay, do they call it an
But
entanglement?
it's not about what it's called. What it's called doesn't matter.
Okay.
And that's that. You see this thing that you're trying to look for a name for it. It's the same way they don't want a name for this thing that they are in. Do you understand?
It's complicated.
It's
Okay.
and that's the thing. It's complicated, but it's not complicated. They complicated it to make it not complicated. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Because apparently putting
You've
the
lost
clause,
me now.
no, putting the clause in relationship is going to complicate things. So they didn't do that to make things uncomplicated, but it's actually complicating things. I feel that it's going to become a problem, but like I don't think anyone.
That in itself is even the explanation is complicated to me, but I understand where she's coming from, and I understand where a lot of people are going to be coming from in coming days and months. This is the next generation we're handing over to. We're getting old, admit it, but I'm not old, not creaky old, but
See, someone said, look, they're living their best life. Yes, you're living your best life until you get hurt. Like that's just how I see
now
it.
let me ask you a question. Looking at us and our generation, do you think our values in your eyes are wrong?
What are your values? I've never even.
Our values with regards to marriage, for instance, growing up when I was your age, I was a bit wild. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to do all the things young people my age do, but I wanted to get married. And I thought divorce was a bad thing. There were very few people who were divorced in my time. Most parents stuck it out, no matter how bad it was. Sometimes we, the kids, knew that their relationship was bad, but they stuck out. How does your generation view sticking out a bad relationship?
Yeah, I think it's not that they're not down to work through it. They'll work through it, but to a certain extent. Like if it's not going to work, they're not going to kill themselves, and that's all right. I like that. If it's not for me, if it's not going to work, we're going to end it. We're not going to die there, and I don't like that thing of oh I'm going to stay here for the kids because your kids are going to grow up and actually tell you, mommy, you should have left, daddy, you should have left. You put yourself in that situation and you did it because of us, but like we would have appreciated it if you just left for yourself.
Well, now this is major because when she said this, she even gave the example of two of her friends.
I did not.
But you
I
said
did
we
not.
could use those
I
examples.
did not.
You changed all of
I
a
did
sudden.
not.
Ha! But you said we could.
I did not.
Okay.
Imagine if my friends were watching this.
But you said, what were you
I
thinking when
never
you
said
said?
that we could.
Okay.
I said we were not casting, so you just casted.
But I remember saying that we could talk about this particular one. We were not talking about.
No, that didn't happen. Sorry, guys.
Wow, that was actually really because how do I put it without casting? What I'm trying to say is my opinion and the opinion of this generation with regards to they are very manipulative because we agreed on. You see,
no, I'm not manipulative.
Okay, she's not manipulative.
I said no casting. I mean, but we're going to talk about everything from my perspective. I am not. It's not going to look like I discuss somebody else's matter with you because that's not how it's meant to have been.
Okay. So discuss it. Discuss the matter from your perspective.
I already ruined it.
Oh, sorry. Okay. How was I supposed to bring it on?
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
This is something of your generation.
What's of my generation? What have I done wrong again?
It's things like this that make. I don't know how to explain it, but you know how your kids are meant to, quote and unquote, meant to come and discuss things with their parents for clarity. There's a reason why they don't do that because things get messy.
How?
You said that in the car. I said that we could discuss this.
Yes.
But I said no casting. No casting was on everything. No casting covered everything. We are not talking about. We are going to do it as if it's my interview, my life, my perspective.
Okay. So I'm sorry for casting. They don't cast me. Okay. I'm going to try to have this conversation. You see, for me, these conversations are so important Many of you don't have these conversations with your kids, and many of your kids don't. She's the only one that talks. The rest
And I
of
don't
them
talk
just
that much. In case you're my age and you're looking at me like,
she's casting you
I
people.
beg, I don't. I don't. I just I give him what I feel like I should give him, so they can give him more. So they can. I just feel like I have to tell them what's on my mind, because the thing is, whether they say do this or do that, I can try and compromise, but I don't want to break anyone's heart. So I might as well just let you know that this is what I'm going to do. Do you understand? So I just that's why I just have to like let them know that okay, this is where we are. We're in 2021. This is what's happening. So they are not dying inside. Oh, I lost my baby. She's growing up, and no, I want you to know what I'm keeping you in the process, so you don't see me like 10 years later and you're like, this girl has changed. What did she become? You were there in the becoming. You knew. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. So I'm just trying to be an honest kid. So like.
Okay. Fantastic. Now, how do we? Someone said it's good to let them express themselves. Absolutely. Which is what?
Thank you. My future husband might be watching.
Which is what many people don't do with teenagers. And she said she doesn't talk. To me, she talks too much. If you were to ask me,
me, I talk too much. Are you serious? You I talk too much.
No, as in
I'm
you
so glad
talk.
that we agree.
We agree on that. Yeah.
Are you serious? We agree. So I can start keeping quiet.
Okay. Now, most other kids just say yes, no, and you never can connect with their minds, which is the dangerous space. Okay, I'm able to connect with her mind to a reasonable extent because I ask a lot of questions, I demand a lot of answers. Sometimes I sit there and I say, you must talk. And what I get scares me. Not with regards to the fact that they're bad kids, but with regards to the fact that all we cooked up in our heads, all our lives, matters very little to them. There's this saying that you get on all the blogs: when a divorce happens, the children suffer. Now, yes, because allocation of resources gets affected. For instance, if I'm in a relationship with someone and or I'm married to someone and she's earning 100k and I'm earning 100k, we have 200k that goes towards the family, right? We share a house, we split the bills, or if I cover the bills, she takes care of something else, we work together. Now, the moment there is a breakup, we now separate. We now have to have two houses. Two houses require two sets of bills. Now we're also going to go through a court process. The court process is also going to require money. So the 200k that we used to share and used to take care of the family and manage to take care of everything is no longer going to be enough because resources are going to start being allocated to issues that did not exist when the marriage was on. So the children tend to suffer financially. You agree on that, don't you? There's going to be a bit of downgrade, sometimes really bad downgrade. And what parents usually do is, you know what, I'm not going to give you any money. Let's see how you survive this. Or, so money is always an issue. I've known parents, what's that?
Someone said something that we're going to talk about very soon.
Okay, good. So I know parents that starve the other, or a couple, one of the spouses starves the other of funds just to punish them and ends up punishing the children. So, these things are real issues. We can't run away from the fact that in a divorce, the children are affected financially. But what about emotionally? A lot of people think that, because daddy and mommy are separate. That's how it was during our days. If our parents, I remember the first time I witnessed my parents having an argument. I think I was about 12, and my dad threatened my mom with divorce. I can never forget. We're going to school early in the morning. I was like, oh my God. I was so frightened. I was traumatized for days.
Wait, but can I ask you why?
Because I just felt divorce was going to be so bad.
Because
I didn't know otherwise. There were not many people divorcing in my time. Of course, there were women who left their husbands. Of course, there were men who moved on, and remarried. But that time, It was traumatizing, to put it from a 12-year-old growing up. I was 12 years old in the 90s. Oh,
And
sorry,
you
in
were
the late
traumatized.
80s. I was traumatized. In the late 80s and the 90s, the narrative was different.
Now, can you see how things changed? When I was 10, I told you, when I was 10, I said I wasn't going to get married. You see, and 10-year-olds are probably looking up to Cinderella and they are waiting for their Prince Charming. You get, but when I was 10, I said I wasn't going to get married.
Hmm. Now, I wanted to land with that narrative so I can bring you on to it. So, do you think in your generation, children suffer emotionally if there's a divorce?
Some will, but some still do. Many will still suffer from it, but like I don't think it's something they can't overcome. One time, like 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? We went to pick Jensen up from school or something like that, and I was bored and we were waiting. I opened a storybook. They actually involved divorce into that storybook, and it was for kids. Divorce was the biggest word in that storybook. Do you understand? They're trying to make it easier for children to ease into this thing, and I think that's good. They try to just tell the kids that okay, your parents are still going to love you. Nothing is going to change. Just that mommy and daddy are no longer husband and wife. Now they are friends, and that's because that's how it's actually meant to be.
Hmm.
Even if you guys are not friends, you're going to have to create that fake facade for your kids. Even if you're going to be enemies, you're going to be not enemies. You're going to have your kid is going to be that small bond. So you guys are going to have to, when you don't like someone but you guys are in the same group and you guys are given a project, your kid
Hmm.
is that project, so you guys just have to work together and make things stick.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that
Hmm.
was in a kid's storybook, so they are making things easier for us and for the next generation, I guess.
Now, that narrative that suggests that a lot of women, I stayed in the marriage because of you. I stayed in the. I've heard who has heard parents. There was one particular story. This young girl, very twisted. She used to walk around Victoria Island those days, and when we're in the same church, somewhere in the Muson Center, those days, and we're having a serious relationship talk in church. And the pastor, there's some question. I knew the pastor was stuck. He couldn't answer that question. The woman said she refused to remarry because of the kids.
She
Refused to remarry because of the kids. And I thought about it. So many women on so many men say, I don't want a divorce. I'm staying in this marriage because of you. Would you appreciate it honestly if someone stayed in a marriage that you know is toxic for
The thing
them?
is, the thought always counts. What you're doing it from a good place, but I would wish that you wouldn't do that for me.
Hmm.
Don't do it for me, because if you die, did you die for me? Like, and how
Hmm.
smart does it sound at the end of the day? I'm still living. You left me that you loved so much and stayed in marriage for.
Hmm. Hmm. So your advice is to parents now who are listening, if you are in a bad marriage, don't stay because of the children. Can I sum it up like that? Don't stay because of the children. They don't appreciate it. They appreciate
They
it more.
appreciate it, but they want you to look out for yourself.
Okay, so the kids appreciate it, but what they appreciate more is you being happy. The children want the parents to be happy, even if it means the parents are going to be separate from one another. Right? Hmm.
And I think what usually traumatizes us is not the divorce itself, it's all the drama that led up to the divorce, not the divorce itself.
Okay, so all the drama that led up to divorce is traumatizing.
Yes, it can be
The
traumatizing.
divorce itself is not traumatizing.
When I asked you why,
Yes.
You didn't have a valid reason. You didn't even have a reason. You just said people were just not doing it. You were just afraid of what you were not used to.
Yes, we're afraid of what I agree. I agree
Exactly. You didn't have a
100%.
reason.
Growing up, I was afraid of what my generation was not used to. There were a couple of my friends whose parents were divorced and all. It was as strange as somebody going to the moon. You know, you look at them and wonder what they're going through. So that absolutely makes sense. Now, how the divorce is handled also affects the psyche
Yes.
and the morale of the children. Personally, they're like when you're in a bad marriage, I believe you can be civil. You don't have to be friends.
Let's do work. Let's do what works for us, but nothing actually works for us.
This is a
Like, are
Western
you proud of you? Are
ideology
you proud of it?
concerning marriage. We are Africans. Let's do what works for us. You see, let me warn you. I have this mentality. We are Africans. We're Africans.
You
We're
guys
Africans.
only know now that okay, we are Africans. You don't know that when it's time to dress, you people will be telling me, "Oh, go and throw shawl on top of my chest." You will not remember that we're Africans then.
Yes, and Africans, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as history portrays, 200 years ago, African women walked around topless.
No, but my point is, you guys don't remember we are African then.
You see, the misconception many of us have of Africans is not Africa itself, is what happened 50 years ago. A mix of westernized Africa that you grew up to meet and believe was Africa. Real Africa is what happened before 400 years ago.
Baba said we are African. What are you?
Before the white people came, that's what we have as Africans. And we need to understand that perspective and how varied it is from what you'd see as Africanism. Now,
anyways, you said you want to do what works for you. We are talking about Gen Z. That's not going to work for us, right? We're talking about me. Sorry, about us. It's not going to work for us, sorry.
okay. Somebody's saying don't be arrogant. She's not arrogant. She's expressing herself.
I'm not sorry.
Now, hold on. Yeah, a lot of you think that her views are different. My views on divorce are not conventional. I'm one of the only preachers that comes out and says I support divorce. I'm very pro-divorce. I said it from the very beginning when I started my message because I saw too many people wallowing in bad situations. So I've always been pro-divorce, always from the beginning. If it's not working, get a divorce. However, I'm seeing that they're even taking it to the next step. And they believe that the children should not be put through the harrowing experience
Thank you.
of they're not to be put through the harrowing experience of the emotional blackmail of I'm staying because of you. They don't appreciate it that much. Stay because you want to stay. Stay because it's working for you. Don't use me. Don't emotionally blackmail me, and for the rest of my life I have to pay you back because you stayed in a bad marriage because of me.
And where does that phrase "I'm staying for you" come from? It comes from okay, you have done something to the kid now, and then your kid is maybe lashing out, and then you're not like, do you know what I'm doing for you? You're doing something she didn't ask you to do. Do you understand?
And now you're expecting payment. I totally understand. It's like, let me give you an example. Someone pays for me. Someone brings out, let's imagine, $50,000, so I can go and have a month with their best football team. It's a lot of money. Yes, they're spending lots of money, but with that $50,000, I'd rather buy a Rolex. It would have been easier for me to just give me the $50,000, let me walk into a Rolex shop and pick a new Rolex, and I'll look at my wrist and I'll be happy. But you see, you're spending so much money doing what you think I like, and it's not such a bad thing. I don't mind the travel, I don't mind hanging out with Messi and Ronaldo, but it's your idea, and don't come and tell me you spend so much money. Did I ask you to spend so much money for something? So I understand where that's coming from. Am I correct with that?
Yes, that's what you're addressing. What I saw someone say. Is this YouTube?
Yes, that's YouTube.
Someone said this on YouTube. They were like, "Stop living your life through your kids. Just stop doing it."
We've had that argument too before.
What was I here?
Yes, you were there when I said kids these days are accessories. They're like your handbag, they're like your car. You dress them up to look nice
In the
because
way
of
that
the
you
in the
like,
way that you like. We need to mature to the realization that kids are individuals,
not pet dogs.
not pet dogs. And they have, you see, when we were growing, you are very lucky. When we're growing up, your parents would just look at you and say, you're going to be a pharmacist. Whether you know how to do, whether you know chemistry or not, you're going to go in and nearly kill yourself trying to be a pharmacist. I know people whose parents were doctors. They had to be doctors. There was no other, they just had to be doctors. And parents, where your parents are lawyers, they just had to be lawyers. But these days, you have a child from a young age is telling you down that now fashion I won't do, now art I won't do, now music I won't do, and you have to deal with these realities. So, let me hand over to you. You have the floor for 10 minutes and then we round off.
I've had before the whole time.
No, I've been trying to, because I don't want them. I understand she's a great child and she's very, I don't want people to see her from a bad light. That's why I'm trying to explain this to you. I understand where she's coming from and I understand that we're the problem. She's not the problem. We are the problem.
My friend divorced 4 times within 3 years period. I support divorce. No comments.
Someone said, love this topic from you guys. Someone said, thanks Daddy Freeze and daughter for bringing this up. These are very important discussions that my generation refused to have. And I can see that there, you see, from when they're 19, 20, 21, they begin to form into their own molecules. And they've split from your molecule into their own independent individual molecules. So it's built its own DNA and it's self-sufficient in ideology, in finances, and it's so easy for them to earn money as against our time. We had to rely on our parents for a long time financially. People these days, from network marketing to music to forex to crypto, make a lot of money from a young age and get the independence that many of us didn't have until we're in our late 20s. So, handing over to her to round off, put your thoughts together. Tell them what your generation wants to say without me saying anything. I don't want to interrupt you anymore. I'll just sit down. Just
You
hold my
didn't
hands.
I actually had the floor for a very. I feel like I said everything. But what I feel like my generation wants to say, and I do not want to agree with them, is I'm not sure because I haven't been friends with everyone in my generation. But what I know, I usually hear is I'm not hearing. I hear, okay, I don't want to get married. I'm not really thinking about marriage, but like maybe that's. I don't hear it as much as I hear. I don't want to be in a relationship, but I like this boy, but I like this girl. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like I just see it as this is how it starts. Do you understand? I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but I like you. But I don't want to have anything to do with you. They don't want to have that tag, and I'm always trying to tell them, you know that you would still have your personality. Your name, Daddy Freeze, doesn't stop you from doing what you're doing. The name shouldn't be a problem. You guys are still going to have whatever you have. It's that tag that is the problem. You guys, and I was talking to someone one day, and the moment I told her this thing, she just sat down and she was just thinking. Do you understand? And she was just like, "Then don't tell me that." So, do you know why? Because they use this thing to protect themselves. They think they're protecting themselves. But like, if it works, it works. I'm an individual. I just don't think that thing is healthy. I don't think it's right.
Mm.
She said that, oh, that it can't hurt me because he wasn't mine. But the thing is, you told yourself that thing because it hurt you in the first place. So you're trying to remind yourself as a coping mechanism. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the moment I told her this thing that, look, whatever you guys had is still the same thing as a relationship. It's just the name that's different. So now you guys are having this thing and it's just not a relationship, but it is the same thing. She just had a rethink, like, yeah, so that boy actually cheated on me. Do you get it? It's just that it can't be called cheating. Do you understand? It's still the same thing. So now
You
you're
protected yourself from the cheating by saying you are not
it's
in a
like
relationship.
it's like you protected yourself with a really comfortable lie. But that's the
Hmm.
thing, you think you're not hurting, but you're actually hurting. That is why you had to tell yourself that thing that, oh, I don't actually own him, so he can't hurt me. If you weren't hurting, you wouldn't have to even think about that sentence. That
Okay, so let me ask you, for you, would you want the tag of we are in a relationship?
yes, I would.
You would
And do you
like
know
the
what
tag.
yes, I would like the
Okay.
tag because it doesn't matter. Because we're in a relationship, like I feel like you don't want to get into this because no one wants to say this. No one ever says this. But to me, once you just say you don't want a relationship with me, you just don't want commitment. And
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with I feel like they just feel like you're a bad person for not wanting commitment. You're not a bad person.
Someone said open relationship, another person said
Exactly.
situationship.
Exactly. That's what they do. You're not a bad person for not being ready to be in a relationship. But just don't put people in compromised
Position. Should we
positions.
bring a couple of people to
Yeah, sure.
discuss this? All right, let's, if you're interested, please
Like I feel like they think
keep your comments very civil and respectful. I will remove anyone who's disrespectful in any way. Someone said, I want, we are just vibing. Hello.
Hi.
good evening, mom.
Hi. So I'm about to go to bed, but it's pretty much very interesting topic. You are not arrogant. That's one of the problems. She's outspoken. See, when
Hmm.
you are in a home for your children, it even takes away your confidence because you see your parents, probably the mom or the dad, in constant fear. So that takes it's probably because of the way she's brought up that she's able to talk without reservations. So that is even a problem that we have. That's why you would say she's arrogant. No, she's just expressing herself without reservation. And another thing I want to say is when you stay in a marriage relationship because of your kids, it's toxic. Having a child grow where you are always screaming, that's what he's gonna learn. If it was violent, that's what he's gonna learn. So it's not the best option to stay. It's actually safer for those children to be in peaceful and stable places than to force it and have three unhappy people in the same space. You, your husband, and the kid. So yeah, I've been wanting to say this and talk to you and admire your confidence. You're just a brilliant, confident young girl. So
Thank you,
you're
mom.
not rude. You're just saying things that we couldn't say, and you are in a home that allows that. You've grown to have the confidence to talk. If you're not in such a home, you wouldn't even be sitting there and be saying daddy and
So
all that.
thank
So
us.
yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that. That was a very
Thank
nice
you.
one. We
Yep.
appreciate that. Okay, who else? I want to join Marianne. Okay, let me bring you on. Go live. Okay, let me see who else I can bring up live. Okay, Marianne.
Good evening.
Good evening. We can't hear you.
Okay. Are you
Uh-huh.
guys hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Your daughter is so pretty and gorgeous.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
She is a smart young lady,
Thank
and
you.
we are very proud of her.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
mom.
much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, the top. I'm a Gambian, but I follow you
Oh,
a
all the
lot.
way from
So
Gambia. Lovely. What part of the
yes,
world are you in?
yes.
What part of the world are
You
you
guys have
in?
a good night. Bye.
Bye, darling. All right, we have somebody else here. Hello. 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 You are shining light in our eye. Hey, you.
Oh.
Oh, wow. I would love to make my own contribution. All right, a couple more people.
I also want to come on try to.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Go ahead.
Okay. God bless you, sir.
Amen.
Over the years, I've been following you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
God bless you, sir. Over the years, I've been following your teachings and I've been following everything that you're doing. And there was a time I was actually doubting, but now I'm actually believing everything. And whenever you come live, I just listen to you till you finish. Not just me, I and my wife.
Oh,
We
wow.
listen to you. Yeah, till you're finished. Your daughter is beautiful.
Thank you so
I
much.
just want to make my own contribution
Go
about
ahead.
divorce and marriage and divorce. I feel that a lot of people today are being divorced because they just want to marry. People are just marrying because of Saturday. Somebody must do wedding. I want to visit. You understand? So people don't marry with the intention right now that I want to stay in marriage. They just married because of the society. Let people know that I'm married. Let me leave my parents' house. I don't know if you get my point, sir. And aside from that, the way church used to do it now, they now make marriage the main priority of the society, whereby they will tell you, this sister, you have to get married, that brother, you have to get married. If you don't get married, this will happen to you, that will happen to you. I saw a vision that God wants to give you a man, and this woman is not actually desiring any man. You now make the woman to start desiring marriage so fast.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. All right, thank you so much for that. That was a really lovely contribution. We've got 2 more people. Please introduce yourselves and let's take your views so we can round this off. Thank you for that. Stay blessed, brother. So who goes first? Ladies first. The gentleman just spoke, even though the lady came after the gentleman.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Daddy Freeze.
Good evening, my darling
really
sister.
I'm really glad, I'm happy, I'm online. Thank you for the privilege to really speak my mind. This is a topic that is dear to my heart because I happen to be a victim of it. So it's something I'm really happy to talk about. I grew up in a polygamous home where, you know, the African system. The women go through a lot of abuse, but they get to stay because of the children. That's what they say. I know how many times my dad would throw my mom out. And that time, beating, instead of her to go back to her parents, she'd rather go to my uncle. That's my dad's family's place. And they would try to sort things out. You understand? So she was still staying put. Instead of being under the same roof with him, she would rather go to his own family members to stay with them so they can sort things out without her own family knowing that there was a problem. So she went through that abuse all through. Honestly, that traumatized me. All through my life, I didn't want to get married. Honestly, I thought about it. I grew up. I was having boyfriends. That didn't stop me. But I just felt getting married was too risky because I saw what marriage did to my mom and other people I saw. So it's like what I saw about marriage was negative. So I was not interested in getting married. So eventually, I don't know how I had to succumb. So maybe someone sneaked into my life one way that I fell in love and I didn't know. I think I lose guard. Yes, I lose guard at the point and I fell in love and I got married. Coming to Europe after marriage, I live in Belgium actually. Coming to Europe after marriage, I realized I wasn't married to someone that was enlightened. I was married to a typical African man. When I mean typical African man, the one from the remote part of Africa. Not even my father's type. My father was even exposed. At least he schooled in London. So maybe that London rubbed off on him a little. But this one, I think I was married to a typical village boy. That thinks he's, if he goes out and sees things outside, he comes and say, I saw my friend, the wife had to come and put the food on the table and knelt down till he finished eating the food. And that's that kind of mentality. I thought I was married to a graduate. So things like that and problem, fighting, beating, continuous abuse. Because my mom stayed in the marriage and experienced all the abuse because of me, I thought staying put also was good for my children. Until, do you know I was staying put? The truth is, if he didn't walk away, I am sure till today I'll still be there. That's the truth, honestly. I'll still be there. Auntie Social will call me and tell me about the arrogance of my child. At this time, my children were like 2 years, 1 year and a half.
They're already arrogant.
Small children. So going to the creche and beating up other babies, they had to start complaining. It was that bad. So the day I spoke to, there's an organization in charge of children, they call them Kinderkizin in Belgium. So the day I spoke to them about the report from school about my child, so they said they had to come to the house to speak to me and my husband together. Do you know when they were coming, they met me crying with my 2 children outside and explaining to them that the police just left, my husband just beat me up and all that. And they said, no, it's done. This is exactly the reason why your child has been aggressive in school. So the whole time we were trying to come and explain to you what could possibly lead to children becoming arrogant, aggressive, and acting weird in school with their mates, only for us to come and find out that this is what you do at home. So this is exactly, so madam, you have to make a choice. Would you stay and let us take the children? Or you'd leave with the children to safety?
Oh, wow. So they told you abroad that if you are going to stay in this toxic place, they will take the children from you.
That's what the woman told me, because this is not safe. It's not safe for the children. If this is the abuse that goes on, because it was actually, I wouldn't have called the police. It was my neighbor that called the police that the guy was going to kill his wife with 2 children. So when they came, so the woman was still under tension and she was talking to the lady, explaining to her that this was what was going on. So it's like, that was when the woman, the lady from the social center, understood that this abuse was not just about today. It's a serial thing. So that was when she decided to, no, Tina, it's a choice you have to make now. Would you rather stay? No problem, we're not going to separate you from your husband, but you stay, let's take the children to safety, so you guys can kill yourself if that's what you want to do. Or we take you and the child, the 2 children, somewhere safe, then maybe he should go get psychological help according to what the police instructed. So if he goes to get help, then we can see if it's possible for you guys to come together again with the children. But for now, it's not safe. So Tina, decide. That was how I was moved. After 1 year of staying apart, do you know I stupidly went back? I did. That's why I said this is really a topic that is close to my heart. I went back. And I got pregnant again to have a 3rd one. Yes, that's how stupid I became. Because I grew up where my mom experienced it and stayed put. Even at this time, when I call, this is what's happening. The pressure, no divorce has ever happened in our family. Yes, because nobody stood up. So they kept on pressurizing me to stay. Tina, you cannot, even my own brothers. At a point, I was like, people would call and say, do you have a family at all? How could you be going through this and to think this is happening in Europe? Are you crazy? Do you want to die? At a point, my doctor told me, Tina, if you stay put, I'm sorry, you will die. So it's your choice. I can't handle this. I've spoken to this boy. I've tried to explain that. I think he's mentally unstable. They tried to arrange a psychologist for both of us. I would go, but he wouldn't go for his.
So you literally begged this man to stay married to you?
Yes. So I was foolish. I went back. That's why I said if he didn't leave on his own, I wouldn't have. But the period I was going through the psychological help, for some years, I was going through it. So that was when I started gaining back my self-confidence. Do you know what the woman told me? She told me the first thing. She said, Tina, I understand. Based on what you've told me all through, I understand what's happening to you. It's not as if you want to stay. It's not as if you enjoy the abuse. But the mentality of Africans is what's affecting you. Because your mom thinks a divorce is a sin. Your
good. Now, Tina.
Yes. You know, the pastors in church, in my church, they were even, I don't even know, let me not even go. I was training, I became a Christian, a religious prostitute. I would go from this church to the other. Because churches were even the one putting me under more pressure. I had to stay. So at this point, when the woman kept on telling me, Tina, make a choice. Do you want to save your life and your children, or you'd rather die and follow this line? So she said the first way to help yourself gain your confidence is, if a call is coming into your phone and you know if you pick this call and you talk to this person and drop the phone, you would have to think of something that would upset you. Even though you're not able to express it to the person on the phone, but you would feel upset. Don't pick the call, even if the call is coming from your mother. It was not easy at the beginning, but do you know I did it? I cut off everybody. My mom will call, maybe she calls 10 times, I pick once. When she starts to talk about my husband, I drop the call. At a point, I told her, I am done with Kingsley. You go and have him. Your husband is already dead, so maybe you want a very young, sharp guy. You can have him. For me, I've told you, but do you want me to be dead? Do you love me at all? How can you, my mother, be pushing me to go and die when other people, strangers, are begging me to run for safety? You are pushing me to go and die. If that is all you have to say to me, please, Mom, don't call me again. I was that rude. I'm sorry. But I had to. Then it took her a while before she realized I was serious. And they all stopped talking about it. If people can call me to ask me, Tina, how are you coping? How are the children? How is life? They don't call me. I was very strict with it. I don't talk to Africans about my situation. The only friends I surrounded myself with was just social people, all white. Because every black person that comes around me wants to encourage me. Don't worry, there's nothing God cannot do. Just keep praying for him.
What God cannot do does not exist.
Have I finished praying for myself and my children? I don't have that time. So if that's what you came to say, get out of my house. So I was so rude to everyone. So they stayed off. And that was how I gained my self-confidence. So when he walked away, when I was pregnant, he left me 7 months. When I told him the baby was going to be a girl again because I have 3 girls, he looked for an excuse and walked away. Do you know, I was so happy he left. I managed myself for 2 months. I had my baby. And do you know, the best thing he did for me was walking away, because I wouldn't have been able to do so. But since he left, I started watching my children. They started developing better than they were before. All the arrogance in school stopped. Right now, the oldest is 9. If you see their results, oh God. In fact, this last school session, my daughter made A parallel, A all through. I was so proud of her. That's what the children have been making me proud. All those arrogance, because we don't experience it anymore. It's just me and them. What are we going to fight about?
And also this goes out to all the men who believe that a daughter is not this is a daughter. Daughter is not only son that is child though. Daughter.
No, the truth is, he was just being, to me, I don't want to use an insultive language for him, but to me he was insane to think, because right now he let at a point realize himself that, you know, men now, pride. He's trying to bully me to come back to him instead of accepting that you're wrong and go and get help. So he's trying to bully me or try to find a way to manipulate the children to tell them it's because your mom is refusing to come back. That's why we are not together. For me, I don't have a problem. Just tell your mom, and she says, okay, we come back. Okay. So I will tell the children, please, you don't understand. Mama would not go back. When you grow up, you understand the reason why I don't want to go back. My daughter at a point pushed. She was really, it got to a point that I had to push the social to take. They took her away for 1 week. So I know it was traumatizing for me myself, but I really wanted her to experience staying away from me, to know that it's not rosy out there. You have everything you ever want inside this house with me alone. But you go out, you see everybody, you want a father and a mother. So later she said, okay, it's not just about my dad. I want you and my dad back. I just want you to get married again. Really, I'm afraid. I am afraid. That's where maybe I need help. I am afraid because I have all girls. The stories of abuse and molestation of little girls, it frightens me. That's the reason I just told everyone I'd rather stay like this until the children are old enough to manage themselves. Right now, I feel they are still too young. So I don't want to go
How
into
old
a
is the
relationship
youngest?
where, God forbid, anything happens.
How old is
I
the
won't forgive
youngest?
myself. The youngest is 5. So for 5 years I've been, because he left while she was 7 months
In the
in
belly.
my womb. So it's 5 years and about 6 months now that he's been away.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have another gentleman. And also, I must complain about religion before I bring the gentleman on. You guys need to watch my show earlier on today when I spoke of the Boeing 737 Max and how an MCAS software ruined it. You see, what happened is, I'm going to break this down very quickly to you. The plane is flying like this, but the MCAS software, because of a wrong reading, some what is it called, angle of attack vein, was telling the MCAS software that the plane was like this, which shows that the plane is in distress. So to save the plane from this, the MCAS now pushed the plane into a nosedive situation to save the plane. And when it went into the nosedive situation, what happened was, when it went into the nose down situation, what had happened was, it overruled the ability of the pilots to take over the control, and that's how the plane crashed and everybody died on 2 separate flights. That is religion. There was nothing wrong with the plane. It was a wrong reading that said the plane was like this. To correct it, it put the plane in a bad situation. So you need to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. Religion is the one that created the illusion of a problem. And to solve the illusion of that problem, it created a real problem that now ended up killing everybody. You need to watch my teaching on this. And I can see this because
I do.
I just did it this afternoon.
You were the one that gave.
Oh, network.
Not the very few that started for network. Hello.
Yes.
You were one of the people that in me, because the psychologist followed me the first time. But my going back and coming, and when he walked away, you were the one that gave me the strength to. I've been following you. It's there are lots of people that follow you. They don't write. I'm one of them. I've been following you. You were the one that gave me the strength, because the only thing I heard was, if you divorce, you cannot get married again. I'm this kind of person that is so afraid to offend God. I feel, because of the way I was raised. My mom is those kind of Christians that takes bell to preach early morning. She's that type. So she raised us that much to be afraid to commit sin, to offend God. So the church kept on telling me all that. So when I stopped, the only thing I had to do was stop church and was just following your teachings. That's only the thing I do on Sundays. I just follow.
Oh, I'm so happy. You see, religion makes you look like you have a problem.
I hardly do this.
Religion makes it look like you have a problem. Meanwhile, the plane is okay. The plane is flying normally. It is religion that has the problem. What was measuring the angle of attack was the problem, and it was giving the wrong report. So religion sees what is like this as like this, and to correct what is not wrong, it puts it in a dangerous situation. Do you know that if you were not religious, you would have been able to live ages ago?
A long time ago. Maybe I wouldn't have had 3 children in it. Yes, that's the truth.
And this is your situation is not just your situation, it's a general situation. Many women are going through what you are going through. Religion is creating, or what you went through. Yes, thank you for that. Religion is creating the illusion of a problem where the problem does not exist. And to solve what it is seen as a problem, it is now putting you in a problem.
In a problem, yeah.
God bless you, my darling sister Tina. God bless your children. I'm glad I was able to give you some strength. Women need this. There's a woman listening to me right now that needs to leave. She's holding on to Africanism. She's holding on to leave.
Please leave for your sanity. My life is far better. I wish you know me before and know me now. You would know. Everyone is proud of me right now. That's the truth. Leave, please. Women, leave for safety, for the sanity of your children, please. Thank you so much.
Bye. All right, we've got this gentleman. Can I call you Mr. Patience? Because you've been so patient with us. It was a beautiful story, and I'm sure you didn't want to interrupt her. because there are people crying
Someone cry. Yeah.
there are people literally crying about this particular story, and I thank God that my movement
Yeah.
has given people the opportunity to actually come out and question these things and realize that, look, there was nothing wrong with the plane in the first place. It didn't need to go like this to
Yeah.
solve this. It just needed to stay the way it was.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. What I just want to say is it's just a bit simple. Yeah. I have a similar story to that, to this woman. Yeah, my parents separated. They came back about 4 or 5 years later when they became Christians. But the fact is that what caused them to separate is still in that relationship as a Christian, but because they live under what is called, how the Reina calls it, it's a Christendom. Yeah, let me put it that way, Christendom. Yeah, that's what Reina calls it. Because they live under a Christendom, they are deeper life and all that, blah, blah, blah. They tend to manage it, even though the church knows that this thing is not working, but they tend to manage it. Now, to cut long story short, with the children, it really affected us because my dad had children outside that marriage. Yeah, but that was before he became born again. So those one man make it so complex. And because of that, you have this kind of very bad mentality, and a lot of things were lost. There's no love in the house. My mom will not really support him because he believes he has some other kids outside, even when his business is not really moving forward, he would not really support him because he said, yeah, your father has other kids outside. If anything became now, they will divide it among blah, 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 So I realized one thing, yeah, I think I don't really support divorce because I grew up knowing that you can't, as your people will say, or whatever. I don't know the type of look that they are sitting with. So, but I believe that I don't believe in divorce. Yeah, until I grew up and I started attending the church that I'm going to. Yeah, and my pastor started preaching divorce. I was like, what? Is it possible for a pastor to preach divorce? So then when I started preaching divorce, then I started realizing that then I noticed the little time that my mom separated with my dad. Yeah, we have a better life. It is not that my mom is a bad person or my dad is a bad person. The fact is that the union is not working.
You said something like this today. That you can be a good man but a bad
I get
husband.
it. The fact is that
Yes.
the fact is that the union is not working. It is neither both of them are bad. Yeah, but their union is not working. They've got different mentalities. Yeah, my father's parents are not educated. My mom's parents are educated. So the way they do things is different. So that is the reason why I believe when you want to get married, marry to your friend. Marry to someone that knows you in and out. That is, you can accommodate each other's differences because that goes a lot in relationship. If you can accommodate each other's differences, no matter what you do, probably I will just shout. The girl will know that. Just leave her. After 5 minutes, you'll be all right. And it works. Because there's no way different people for different backgrounds, you can never work on the same space, but you can always manage it to work. So I beg people that if your relationship can work, yeah, make it work. Don't see it as if, okay, you have just little problem. Because what that woman is saying, yeah, is a huge problem. It's a huge problem. Yeah, there are some people that is just a little problem that they can easily sort out. But because it's just like a trend, everybody's divorcing. And something nowadays I realize, especially in your daughter's generation, I don't think there is love anyway. I don't think they experience what is called love. So a lot of people marry for what they can get. A lot of people marry for fame. A lot of people marry for conveniences. Yeah, probably we are of the same class. And when you get into the relationship, you discover that, man, this is not really what I want. Especially in the Western world, because I live in the United Kingdom. Yeah, especially in the Western world. Everybody travel down here, and in the Western world, everybody is the same thing. It is not that your father is rich, that I'm poor. I ain't getting, because there's no club you want to go into that a poor man won't go into. I ain't getting, there's no car that you want to drive that an average person can't drive. Math, you collect it on credit, you'll be paying small. So it is difficult for you to differentiate between the rich and the poor. Unless you are really deep in the system, that is when you will know that this person is a high-class person, this person is a low-class person. Because everybody always live probably in the same neighborhood, you drive like the same car, your children goes like the same school. There's nothing that a poor man can afford. I won't say a poor man, like an average person that can afford, that a rich man will afford for a child, that an average person won't be able to afford for his child. So it's a different ball game around here. But again, the Western nonsense, again, I don't think it really helps relationship, to be honest. I'm not of a person that supports being in a relationship and be abused. If you're abused, especially when it comes to hitting, there might be, because a lot of girls, to be honest, I've seen someone that said her husband raped her, and it's a lie, and the guy goes to jail because of that in the same country. I get it. So in the same country, so there are a lot of. So the fact is that she's tired. She doesn't know how she's going to do it. The guy is okay and everything, and she just called the police. They started having fun normally. She just called the police. Police came to the house. What happened? Rape. At the end of the day, the guy ended up in jail because the guy was pissed. He had to eat the girl in front of the police, and the guy went to jail. His house, he lost it because when you're in the mortgage,
the girl annoyed him, so he hit her.
Automatically belongs to the girl, or belongs to the woman. Automatically belongs to the woman, and you're still going to be paying the mortgage because the government won't go and pay for house for the kids and the wife. They'll use that. So because of that, a lot of things. It's a very complex situation, and I used to, I have younger generation that is coming in right now, like the age of your daughter, or even less, that they don't feel it's important for a relationship to happen. They just believe that it's not even about dating, as she has said. It's not even about dating. They just believe that it can't. It's something that we'll just see if it's going to work. If it's not working, fine, you move on. No hard feelings. I don't think a good relationship can grow up out of that. Exactly. You have to be a friend of your spouse. You have to know her. You need to know the background she's from, because that's really helped as well. You need to know the background she's from. You need to understand how it does and everything.
Okay.
I'm really happy bringing me here.
Thank you so much. You've cast so much light. I really appreciate you. Somebody said, "This your head now, wisdom, Fulham." Thank you so much.
He didn't say that it's impossible. He didn't say that it's impossible for a husband to rape a wife.
Okay, he wants to say something.
Last time you brought me on, I said I want to have a one-on-one section with you. I don't mind paying for it. You told me to DM you. I did, and you didn't get back to me.
I'm so sorry. What's your name on DM?
I just use my nickname, Coronati. SCORR.
Okay.
ORNEI.
SCO.
R.
Hold on. SCO. R. OR. MATI.
N for November.
Okay. Nati.
Yes,
okay.
Coronati.
Okay, follow back. So I've sent you a request now. Send me another message and say hi.
Okay, I will do that after this.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care. God bless you.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. On a final note, you take the lead. I hand over to you. Yella.
This is the second time.
Yes. So
somebody over here said that. You see, now I don't remember what I wanted to say. Someone said something like. He said something. Yeah, he said it's possible. Yeah, he did not say that it's impossible
don't use
for
the
a
word
husband.
That's is it possible for a husband to force his wife? Yeah,
he didn't say that it's impossible for a husband to force his wife. He's just saying that in some cases, wives have to lie that their husbands force them
just to get the divorce. because
Yeah.
in many instances it is almost impossible for a woman to get a divorce. So sometimes we find, and this is one of the
She
reasons
had to
why
take the high
divorce
road.
has to be made easier. And you mentioned that you said you don't want to be going through a divorce for 10 years.
Exactly. So when I get married, because I will get married. Well, if I don't get married, oh well, I'm good. Oh. But like, if I do get married, I'm not getting married the conventional way. I'm not. I don't want the papers and the plenty drama. I just want the celebration and the love finish. I don't want all that chill drama. If you want to leave me, you're going to leave me. But like, I like the fact that you could have left me at any time, and you're still here with me.
But now, let's discuss the beauty of the papers, because you need to understand that papers sometimes protect a woman. Because if you go and marry an Igbo man, for instance, the day he's leaving you, he's leaving with his children. If you don't have any papers tying you
What
down.
if you don't get? I don't plan on doing traditional marriage. Does that apply? Like even if it's not traditional.
If you don't do traditional marriage, anyway, me, I've said I'll not collect your bride price. You know, we've had that conversation. What am
So
I
if you
selling
don't-
you? Uh-huh. So I understand this, and this has also been a vision in my head. I've always believed in, if you remember, I preached it a while ago, in people coming together and marrying themselves in Christ. A woman and a man, they come together, they take their commitment to one another, only them and their God. Then when they are done, they can throw a party, get some people to come, drink, have fun. But the union is actually, and that's what the Free Nation preaches as a marriage. Yes, you know, when I first said this, my younger sister is a lawyer. My younger sister was like, look, you have to be careful. You can't just tell people to do this so that you will not be against the law, because it is not a marriage until there are papers. We need to change that narrative.
Is
When
marriage
Adam got
necessary?
married to Eve, who did the paperwork? The scripture says she became his wife. It was Adam, Eve, God. Nobody else was there. The moment we moved away from Adam, Eve, God narrative, we got to a family, in-law, bride price. It became complicated.
It's even worse when
Say that again.
when politicians' children are getting married.
Yes, then you
Like,
now
I can't
unite
imagine
dynasties.
Like it's so annoying. You now bring one uncle that I did not know to my wedding. Like I'm so confused.
So yes, I don't believe in, personally, traditional marriages are scriptural, but because of what they have become in Nigeria, I tend to I would rather, if I had my way, my child wants to get married, she's found the person she loves, she's been with them, she is sure that she loves them, she is sure that they love her, she is sure that they want to work this out and stay together. My personal belief system would be, they go and get married by themselves in front of God. It takes 5 minutes. Once you're done, you have our consent. You have your parents' consent. That's what's important. Then we celebrate the union.
I
Yeah.
believe in you have your parents' acknowledgement. Because not every parent wants you to get married to someone who is actually good for you. Some people they just want you to get some people just want you to get married to this well-to-do man that's working in an oil company and blah 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 blah. It's not good for you, but like that's what they're giving you consent to marry.
I agree with this
So I'm just going
narrative.
to let you know that
Many parents have pushed their children inside because somebody came with white shirts saying he works in oil company. It looks like they're secure. You see, money. Let me tell you, yeah, the poverty of Nigeria is so deep. The mindset of poverty is so deep that it affects things that is not supposed to affect. Because of your poverty, you are looking for security. So you push your child into a relationship that seems secure. It's a poverty mindset thing.
It's the kind of
in
marriage
its
that you
totality.
would have wanted.
The kind of marriage that you would have wanted. Okay, somebody here says, can I talk? Can I give him 30 seconds?
Daddy, you have
Yes. You want to say something?
My children are going to school tomorrow.
Oh, yes. So we've totally rounded off. 30 seconds, we're gone. I didn't even expect it to last this long. It's just that the contributions we had tonight were immense, were amazing. What do you think? And I'm glad that we're part of the wheel of change in this society. So I think we can round it off.
Some people are so poor, all they have is money.
Yes, all they have is money, and it's even worse. Some people are so poor, all they think about is money. It's worse when all you have is. It's bad when all you have is money. It's worse when all you think about is money. Take care, guys. From Yella and I.
Bye.
We're gonna come again with some of these our conversations. Remember, talk about it. It goes a long way. All right. Bye.
Bye. No, I'm not his wife.
Oh, they've started this their narrative.